Welcome to Football Fever, a brand new show that's hitting the airwaves for the first time here on Chubba TV. I'm your host, and I'm very excited to have on the line one of my good friends, my old sparring partner from the good old days at Soccer Stoppage Time, Andy O. Good evening.
Good evening, Chubbs. I don't know how you keep dragging me back, mate. I don't know how you do it, but we're here. We're getting a band together.
Mate, we are getting the band together. We're all excited. We're going to have Stealth Tony Rallis soon with some big news coming out of. He always has big stories to break, as we know, but it's exciting. We haven't been on for a while since Soccer Stoppage Time, and the A League's really kicked on leaps and bounds of late.
Mate, I can't tell you how many people have asked me since I think it was since COVID or before COVID that we officially stopped, and every time I go to watch young NPL games, whether it's my daughter or friends or kids of friends, everyone just asks me, what's going on with the show and when are you guys coming back, and we miss it and all the rest of it, and they do miss Tony's bombs, and he's known to have a few bombs uh, launched through the show, and mate, I think we're sort of
Yeah.
we're
And
back, and we're going to be firing.
and the NPL's been flying. I mean, the NPL the last couple of seasons has really gone to new lights, and really taken off as well. All the games being live on YouTube has been a huge success. And we'll be talking to league leaders, the Spirit of Sea, who are the surprise package of the NPL one at the moment, with David Perkovic later. We'll get him on and see what they're doing out there, because they're really taken the league by storm this season.
Mate, I've been keeping a close eye on the NPL, as I always do, both here and in Victoria, with some mates that are down that way, that with kids that play as well. But yeah, look, always been exciting. And Chubbs, I mean, you saw the other week the scenes that was out of Preston, down in Melbourne, Preston versus South Melbourne. We know it from back in the glory days of the NSL, and a crowd of 9,000 people or whatever it was, and it was just a sight to behold, and that's the sort of stuff that we miss here in football in this country at that level.
We'll go quickly. We'll start off just quickly with the A League. We'll just go quickly through the A League results. I'm sure everyone's up to date with them, but we'll quickly go through them, because the A League was raining goals, and boy, there were some cracking goals in this round. I mean, if people don't watch the A League, they should start watching it, because the level and some of the goals that are scored in the A League this season have been phenomenal. It all started on Friday night. We had a cracker with Macarthur FC and Newcastle Jets in a 3-3 draw. On Saturday, Wellington Phoenix and the Wanderers played a 2-2 draw. Um, Sydney FC went down to Melbourne City 3-2. And the big one, the cracking game of the round, was at Melbourne Victory, with Melbourne Victory beating Adelaide United 5-3, and that was a cracker of a game. Then on Sunday, we had the Central Coast Mariners 3, Perth Glory 1, and the league leaders, Auckland FC, they continued on their marching way, beating the Brisbane Roar 2-0. Melbourne Victory were outstanding.
Yeah, big rivalry, Chubbs. Big rivalry, victory in Adelaide, as we know, in the A League. It's probably one of, apart from your derbies, it is one of the biggest interstate games. And boy, I tell you what, I was watching that game, and you just couldn't look away, because the amount of action, and obviously the goals. Some people say, the goals is not as entertaining, but obviously, that's where the action comes from. You love seeing goals, as opposed to something like a 1-0 or 1-0 or 0 scoreline. So very entertaining, very big win for Melbourne Victory. They were down and out for a couple of periods there in the game, but credit to them. They're obviously in there with a big shot. With a big shot this year, they're sitting well inside the top six. So it is nice and tight, as we know. Apart from Auckland, who's streaking away at the top, but yeah, no, it's just going to be an interesting run into the finals.
I'll stop you there, because we have got our man online. We have got him, the man who we used to do a lot of throwing him backwards with Stealth Tony Rallis in the old days with Soccer Stoppage Time. Good evening, Stealth. How are you?
Good evening, boys, and congratulations Pro TV, Cover TV. Best to you, Andy. Andy Switzerland. Oh, good to see you again, son.
Dad, you look younger than I've ever seen you, mate.
I look what? Sorry.
Younger.
Yeah, I doubt that. But anyway, it must be the screen. I haven't cleaned it.
Stealth. We haven't. We used to do soccer stoppage time. Now we're bringing a brand new show, Football Fever. As we know, we usually get you on to be breaking stories in the A-League with transfers and scoops and so on. But I think I've got a scoop of my own today that I want to bring out to you, and you tell me if how correct or factual I am. My reports and my sources tell me only 3 to 4 hours ago that the Newcastle Jets had sent a written letter to Robbie Stanton saying that he will be terminated at the end of the season. Have you heard anything of this?
Without going into the particulars, but I have cited Newcastle Jets suggesting that they are going to put Robbie Stanton on notice.
What I don't believe is that what is going on at Newcastle with Robbie Stanton. I mean, in the last 8 weeks, he's only had one loss. He's developing players for the Newcastle Jets, the NPL, the YPL, and so on. He's been doing a terrific job. And if you could say anything, I think there's only 3 losses in the last 12. And if anything, Newcastle Jets are on the way up. They're not on the way down. So what is the theory and what is the reasoning behind even the thought of terminating Robbie Stanton's contract at the end of the season?
I think Chubb, you need Maurice Brichetto. Sorry, Brichetto is an Italian delicacy. Maurice Bisset, chief in command for his conduct. All I can say is 14 weeks ago, Robbie Stanton signed a 2-year, and he's only in the meantime. I know Maurice Bissetto, chief in command, would come out and probably spit out a bit, but all Robbie's got the smallest playing budget, the 2.9 million per season on players. To put it in perspective, there's a batch of clubs in the 3.5 million range, in the 4.5, and a lot of top clubs in the $5.5 to $6 million range. My understanding, speaking to Robbie and speaking to the club, because Bissett has been in hiding, is that Robbie.
Well, speaking of Maurice Bissett, I tried to call him twice today. I did speak to him twice actually today to get him to come and speak on the show on behalf of the club about his thoughts about what's happening with Robbie Stanton. He refused, saying to me that they will have a press release later on during the week, maybe Wednesday onwards. They will have a press release. I went back to him again. I thought, look, it'd be good for you to get on. And then he actually told me, look, there's other coaches we could speak about, Arthur Dillis and John Aloisi, which I found really fascinating because I wasn't calling him about Arthur Dillis and John Aloisi. I was calling him up about Robbie Stanton at Newcastle.
Yeah, look, Maurice Bissett is a bit of a character. From my understanding, he was removed as a CEO of Western United after 6 months as a CEO. He's been a stealth in his current conduct. He's really behind the scenes, bit of Mussolini type, and we all know what happened to him. All I can say is that Stanton signed a new 2-year contract for doing with. He didn't ask for any extra resources as far as budget. He had an extra assistant because when you go and recruit multiple players from NPL clubs, NYL clubs, players that are unwanted, I mean, Stamatolopoulos is a classic example. The game plan of development program Newcastle was good coaching and good standard backup staff under Shane Micheski and Robbie Camp's initial. They reaped the reward $400,000 transfer in Stamatolopoulos. There's a couple of pending international transfer players like Clayton Taylor and Lockie, but were not wanted by Sydney and Central Coast, and others like Gross and Timmins and Eliad, and they've all sprung to life, and that's got to do with Robbie Smith and his assistant to run everything. They've done a top job. Not sure why they would issue a letter to terminate him after the success they've had. Quite correctly, one loss in 8 weeks, 3 losses in 12, on a $2.9 million budget, which is less than 50% of what the 3 clubs are spending. So, interesting times. We heard the rumour until we got notice 3 hours ago.
It's just a shock because, like I said, Newcastle Jets have really been on the upper, and with the new board that came on, we were hoping big things for Newcastle Jets down there. I mean, Tony, am I right to say, I believe you've got quite a few players down there at the club?
Yeah, look, there was Stamatopoulos was sold for $4,000 last year. There's 2 that are leave the building at the end of this season as a minimum. For me, my taking the Clayton Taylors, the Lockie, Ben Gibson, the Costa Grosses, all these guys to the club was because Robbie Stanton's years of coaching was at Sydney under the Corrigan. He made him better players. See that. With a bit of luck, they should be much higher up the ladder. Done well. And you can see that with 1 or 2 top recruitment, challenge for the top 5 or 6. But you'd have to get more specific to.
Yeah, how will it go down with the current squad? I mean, it's a very, very young squad, as we know. And look, I agree. They're only, I think they're only 6 or so points off the top 6, which is amazing because they were languishing down the bottom there for a while, apart from this run that they're currently on, like you said, the last 10 or 12 games. But how do you think it'll go down with the current playing squad? Because obviously he's galvanised them.
I think he definitely has galvanised them, improved them. Like I said, Taylor and Bayless in particular and Grossos have gone on to become internationals. Bayless has gone on to become. They're just some players that he's improved amongst many. Many of those players weren't wanted 12 months ago, 18 months ago. Today, they're most of them are. There's just in the camp, but they're, like I said, 2 of not as a consequence of Stanton's removal. They would decide. Answer the question. I don't know the answer to that, Andy, but what I do know is heaven help the new coach to come. If they're going to have a commander-in-chief, like we said, who wants to involve himself in retention and recruitment, he wants to tell coaches that his son is better than any player in the club and that he should be trialled. He wants his VP of that care centre to be trialled at Newcastle Jets. Can you imagine? Oh, hello, boys, trialling this player. It just happens to be the acting manager of football at a daycare centre. He just needs to have a game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, please. You're
the best.
Don't they?
Incredible. Tony,
you're the best.
Before we go to another, just because we haven't had you a while for soccer stoppage time, the Auckland Kings have entered the competition, really doing well. Your thoughts on how the A-League's progressing, Tone? Like I was saying to Andy, it's a shame it doesn't get the bums on the seats I suppose the A-League deserves, because the football at times has been excellent this season. Some cracking goals, great level. We know Scandinavian clubs have been coming after players. The MLS now have been trying to get our players. The transfer market of our players has been, it's bigger than it's ever been in quite a while. It's just if we could get the more traction to the A-League, which I think the competition does deserve, we would be in a better place. But the Auckland Kings are really, doing really well with Steve
Auckland FC.
Auckland FC, yeah, Auckland Kings, Auckland FC.
I think kudos to Steve Corrigan. A lot of people wanted to criticise a guy that put 5 trophies as head coach of Sydney FC. Built a squad, and while he's signed some tremendous international play, there's a lot of New Zealand NPL standard. Real fist of it. There's been a couple of. That's understandable with the Varistas and the Gillian, the Rogersons, who are coming from effectively NPL they're fatiguing a little bit, but still done a tremendous job. I've got to give credit to Nick Becker and Terry and Dougie Coors, CEO, football director, and head of recruitment, even Danny Humphrey. And they had a plan backed up with their fantastic owner, Bill Foley. Bill Foley owns Bournemouth Club, a Portuguese club, owns 30% of Hibs, owns 45% of Red. They put a lot of money into Auckland. They're building plans. They've done a try. I've gone to one of their games in Auckland. It's an outstanding day's event, and congratulations. As far as to your second question, Chubb, the other tremendous problem, often disregarded by people from within, whether they're incompetent people or biased people, jealous people. Simple facts, 2020, I think the whole A-League had $2 million worth of transfers. 2023, there was 21 million. We're selling players to the MLS, to Scandinavia, to the Championship. Just like I won't mention the club. I've had my second MLS club visit Australia. The first one resulted in the old Luke Brooks coming over to a great MLS club. There's another one today that's gone to 3 or 4 matches, and there's many others to come. And we're hoping that's going to generate a lot of interest and further transfer fees, because the clubs need it. The APL's distribution.
Andy?
Jones, I just want to ask, and you, Chubbs, has Auckland FC's success come to detriment of Wellington Phoenix? Because it wasn't not that long ago when Ufuk Talay was there that they were quite a force, Wellington. And I mean, look, I thought it's been a long time coming to get a second team there in New Zealand, and obviously it's been very successful. But just with Wellington not in the mix with final contention this year, is that something that did they maybe underestimate how good Auckland were going to be?
I don't think so, Andy. I think you got to look at the facts. They sold Paulson for 1.6 million, and he's only back here. They sold Instrument for 800,000. They sold Ben Old for $1 million, and they lost Grayev and Pennington amongst one or two others. And that, I think Chief's a good coach. He's proven he's a good coach. You can't throw a bunch of kids in after you lose 7 and expect to scale.
Yeah, they definitely lost a lot of talent, that's for sure. Yeah.
Tone, moving.
I would develop what was going to happen.
Tone, moving forward, I know you always have something tucked away in there. Anything moving forward? Any other breaking news we should know about before we let you go today?
A testament to the A-League and its standing is that a former Merseyside great, an Everton great, the diminutive Adrian Heath, former Everton number 8 through the guys that played with Graham Sharp, and was part of that side that won 2 titles. Adrian Heath's been coaching MLS, last club being Minnesota. He's thrown his hand in the ring and spoken to A-League clubs. So the great Adrian Heath might be blessing the A-League from a perspective. Looking at his history, it's not just because he's a former great side representative, but he's done some tremendous work. Identified a lot of talent. He's a developing coach. Had varying success and more development of young talent. So I really hope he comes to the A-League, bring out a few more of those Everton sides to whatever club he might.
Well, that'd be huge for the A-League, like you said, a legend of Everton with a league title and FA Cup back in the glory days. I mean, it will be a huge boost for the A-League, and that's it can only benefit the A-League in the long run.
Look, I don't think it's about you've got a hot job. I think he's proven in the last few years a man of substance. He set up UCL clubs. He's built them. They're the top coaches we need. We've got a lot of talent. A lot of talent. It's been demonstrated by the results. People want to bat when our national youth teams were doing well, but they won the Cup, they wiped the floor of Japan and Saudi Arabia, all had 3 or 4 years of professional football. Our under 3 had a friendly against Croatia. We're talking about, we're not talking some two Bob National. And look, the kids have, every year we're selling it. Look, good luck to the clubs. It was also done a great job.
Tony, can I just ask you, before we let you go, something that's been a hot topic, obviously, since we went off air many years ago, but the whole B League thing that we know it's out now. It has been for a while, and it's been narrowed down and shortlisted and whatnot. Just wanted to get your thoughts on it, and whether the big question is how successful it's going to be.
They're playing like a round robin competition at the end of the NPL season.
I think you've answered your own question. You know my thoughts from back then, Andy. I didn't think it would succeed. It's a watered down version of what they wanted because they didn't get nothing. And it's going to be under-resourced. But I hope it works. I really do. It'll be another place to develop some of those traditional clubs. I've got my reservations. I hope it works for my good friend Jason. But I think it's under-resourced.
Yeah, the money side of it is going to be a big thing, and that's that's what keeps on coming up, is how they're going to be able to afford travel and staff and players and all the rest of it.
Really not. I mean, it's like we don't even know who's in the B League, who's going to make up. We've got 8, and then we'll get these guys that win this. We take. So it's a bit like Morris Bissetto's FIFA PlayStation for management skills. I don't know why you two are laughing. You're probably in trouble by somebody. Probably back tomorrow, but that's the story.
Tony, thank you. Yeah, thanks again for your time and efforts that you always give us through Soccer Stoppage Time, now through Football Fever. We'll be looking forward to it over the coming weeks. And like I said, we'll keep a close eye now on that Newcastle Jets story and the Adrian Heath story, which are 2 great stories for the A-League. But